Hello and welcome to the Saints FC podcast. This is the podcast that is all about Southampton Football Club and the trials and tribulations of that club. And this week it's going to be a little bit different from normal. I think I say that most weeks now, so maybe the normal episode is out the window. But Mr. Tom Parker is away on holiday in Portugal. I have managed to find another person who lives in London who supports Southampton, or actually maybe more likely he kind of found us. You may, if you've been a long time listener of the show, remember us reading out an email from William Porteous Blyth, the pirate from the good ship South London Saints supporters. So William, good to have you on the show. Welcome on.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be here. But quite shocking to be here, but it's good to be here.
Yeah. Okay. I've got to get some little bits of admin done at the start of the show.
Go for it, mate.
Then we're going to have a proper introduction to you and who you are. So first of all, I'd like to say we are still sponsored by Beer 52. Yes, this means you can still get free beer. If you haven't got your free beer yet, head to beer52.com/saints. All you have to do is pay for the postage and they will deliver a box of beer to your door. 8 beers for free, plus the postage. It is a beer subscription service, so if you really love your craft beers, you can stick in for the long run and get a box delivered every month. And if you try it out and you decide actually you just want to stick with your normal kind of Foster's, Carling, etc., you can cancel the box, no hassle. So very easy peasy. So head to beer52.com/saints if you like delicious beer, as we do.
That almost went everywhere.
Yeah, that almost went everywhere. My beer mat stuck to my beer glass and I nearly threw beer all over my work laptop. These are the hazards. These are the hazards of free beer.
Oh, and he's actually cleaning it up, listeners, as well. This is lovely. He's very tentative.
Have a tissue in your pocket if you're drinking the free beer from Beer 52. Right, anyway, if you'd like to email in and tell us about your free beer or what you think about Southampton's performances, you can do so saintsfcpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find us at saintsfcpodcast on Twitter, or you can find us on Reddit, all sorts of different places where there's Saints fans. We're normally there as well. So let's give you a proper welcome to the show, William. Say, how long have you been a Saints fan for?
Oh my God, I genuinely don't know. I was thinking about this last night whilst watching the most gutting match of the day I've ever watched in my life. And it was, I think the first match I ever went to was Aldershot versus Tiverton Town.
Right.
Aldershot won 6-2. But my dad took me to see Saints at the Dell, and it was 91, I think. And we drew 1-1 with Nottingham Forest. And not the cages, but the thing, the remnants of the things were still up. What do they call them? The cages.
What, like the kind of like the cages in front of the terraces to stop you getting onto the pitch? Okay, yeah.
So they were still there, but the wire wasn't there. So it was, God, Jesus, like 10. I was like 10 years old.
Yeah,
and it was the most boring match in all of mankind. Yeah, it was horrific.
And then you fell in love with the Saints.
And then I fell in love with the Saints.
Okay, and obviously you listened to the Saints FC podcast. You got in contact,
love it,
with us through that. There was a game which was on the telly, and none of us were going, so we all met up in the pub.
Yeah,
and there we go, another Saints fan friendship has blossomed.
Yeah,
but there's a little bit more to you than meets the eye initially, because we thought you were a pirate, but it turns out you're a podcaster. I am
a podcaster. I'm obsessed with it. And actually, funny enough, you guys, I think I'd tried to find a Southampton podcast about 2 years ago, and I stumbled across it. I can't remember what it's called now. And I was gutted because it was so intermittent. And then I gave it a 2-year break, went into iTunes, searched Southampton Football Club, whatever, and you guys came up, and I was literally just, oh my God, this is amazing. And there are a bunch of other ones as well now. It's like 2 others or whatever that are worth a go. But I don't know what it is, man. But for some reason, I've really stuck with you guys.
And so enough of the flirting, William. Tell us a bit about your podcast. It's not a football podcast. You have interests outside of Southampton Football Club.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Well, it's all politics. But it's kind of like, it started out as a sort of a Lib Dem kind of thing, but then has evolved in a way that I never could have imagined, to sort of stuff like interviewing people like Heseltine, Gina Miller, Ken Clark, basically kind of centre-y, lefty kind of stuff. It's pretty heavy Brexit. Yeah, it's all Brexit. I'm not going to lie. But then...
Is that all the political classes are still talking about?
If we're not bombing Syria, then, it's pretty much all about Brexit, which is horrific, obviously. It's not a political show, obviously, this, but yeah, it's pretty sad, the state of the political affairs we're going to now, because Brexit is just basically crapping on everything.
So, I mean, doing a kind of like political podcast, does that kind of leave potential for a podcast to be more depressing than a Southampton themed podcast at this point?
Do you know what, mate? Actually, no, there is no room. I almost went a little bit Southampton there.
Yeah.
I almost went Southampton. I think the state of Southampton at the moment is so depressing.
It is worse than the state of
Absolutely. I watched Peston on ITV this morning, and I was like genuinely upbeat watching Emily Thornberry talk about like Syria and bombing and stuff, and not in a horrible vile way, just literally listening to Emily Thornberry. It makes me happier than thinking about Saints at the moment. I mean, come on.
Right, so if anyone fancies a break from their football themed podcasts, and they're going to head to your podcast, which is the Limehouse podcast.
That is correct, yeah.
And you can find it in all good podcasting outlets.
HMV.
I mean, if you're going to send a first-time listener back to any one episode, which one do you think they should try out for their first episode?
That's a really good question. I did one with Our Future, Our Choice, and they're a bunch of young people fighting Brexit, and it's a wonderful conversation because they're just really open-minded. They're new. I mean, when I was 20 odd years old, I was interested in Iraq. Yeah. But these guys are like, focus. It's unbelievable. It's a wonderful conversation. So yeah, Our Future, Our Choice, or perhaps, Louise, Gina Miller. That was a good one. Yeah.
Okay. And then, one last thing about you before we go on to the football. We can also give your business a quick plug, seeing as you've come all the way up here.
Yeah, why not? Do
you want to give us a quick little advert for your business?
Yeah, I'm called Porteous Blyth Gardens, and we service, me and my dogs, the south of London. I know it sounds like I'm taking the piss, but I do actually have a gardening service. So if you need anything, just hook us up. I'll hook you up. Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, I think this is where you need to give like a telephone number or an email address so people can get in contact with you for your gardening services.
Email would be W Morgan Porteous, Porteous, @gmail.com, or just porteousblythegardens.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So let's get on to the football. Last Sunday, we met up in a charming pub over in Islington.
Yeah.
The Rueing Castle, which had a nice selection of craft beers, not unlike the types that you get in Beer 52 boxes. And we went to the Emirates. I wasn't feeling confident at all, but I've been to the Emirates 3 times before to watch Southampton.
Yeah.
2 League Cup games and 1 Premier League game before, and I'd never seen us lose. I had seen what I consider the greatest goalkeeping performance ever from Fraser Forster, which, gosh, that sounds like ancient history now. And obviously 2 kind of wins in the League Cup as well. Also seen some cracking goals there as well, scored by Saints players.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of got in there. We started okay. It was a little bit back and forth. No one team was really kind of taking control. Arsenal kind of had, I wouldn't say like a half-strength side, but like,
it was
maybe
a Europa League, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had Europa League.
Fatigue.
Yeah. And we started pretty well.
Yeah.
And Shane Long got, a goal in 17 minutes, which is the kind of goal which only someone like Shane Long could get. It's a real tries goal. Like, he had no reason to kind of be there. It should have been totally easy, simple defending for Arsenal, but he was there and he nicked it and he put it past Petr Cech.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And I was saying to you earlier, like, how I couldn't believe. I tried to recount the goal in my mind, and I've got it kind of there now, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, not Shane Long. No, they've got someone who's like, Gully de Prado. It's like, I couldn't actually focus my mind. Mind you, I was pretty shocked, jumping up and down as I was.
And I say, fair play to Shane Long, because I think as we're going into into the game. So me and my brother all went along, and quite a few other Saints fans then. And the general chatter was kind of like, why Shane Long? Why not Charlie Austin? We'd seen Charlie Austin was fit again. We've seen him training. He'd obviously made an appearance in the previous match. So I think people were expecting Charlie Austin to be on from the start, but you got to say, Shane Long was well worth his place. It was interesting to see Saints, they kind of lined up in a 4-5-1 formation, which I think was sensible being away at the Emirates, especially after we were carved open so brutally by West Ham in the previous game.
God, that was
and then
brutal.
To have Shane Long leading the line also seemed pretty sensible because he's a good bully, and I think Arsenal players can sometimes be a little bit fragile.
Yeah, and do you know what's really funny? Just picking up on that point is because I think about Shane Long, my head sinks. I know that's a horrible thing to say because based on the couple of performances I've seen him put out there, but when I did see him starting up, I was like, why not Charlie? But you know what? I think personally, Shane Long, my God, I know we're getting on to Chelsea in a minute, but he's a dude right now.
Yeah.
I want to go for a beer with Shane Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Hopefully a celebratory Saints have survived the season. Or have won the FA Cup.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Post FA Cup victory. Shane, wouldn't that be
if he's quite small, I'd probably hold him for a long time and put it in my top pocket.
Yeah, well.
Bless him.
Why not? So Saints are 1-0 up, and obviously we like to concede goals in quick succession. The two Arsenal goals in return were 10 minutes apart, but it felt like they were kind of more closely together.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was a similar feel to them both as well, wasn't there? Describe what you kind of felt when the Aubameyang goal, the build up to that. What were you expecting from Saints as that all happened?
Well, firstly, I'd like to just say that I couldn't believe that we'd scored in the first place. It was like when I went to see Saints and against Man United and Rodrigo scored in the first 2 or 3 minutes. I couldn't believe it. So I was fully prepared for this to happen. Yeah. In my heart, I knew this is bullshit. This is a lie. Someone's lying to me. So when the first goal went in, I was like, this isn't a goal. It's a trickily kind of like non-entity goal, totally almost against the run of play. When the second one went in, I was devastated. Of course I was, like everybody else. But it was still, we were away from home, so it was kind of like, fine. We're going to lose this game anyway. But it was, I think it's just the way we conceded it. It was just, your brother's to my right, and he was just like head in his hands, down by his knees, devastated. And I was like, I'm a 36-year-old guy. I've seen this happen too many times to get actually devastated. It was more of like, yeah, all right then.
But there were two goals where you kind of think like, if we had a destroyer like a Wanyama. Oh,
okay, yeah, absolutely.
If we had players that were willing to kind of like commit to challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. We would. It was horrendous. It was just, it was laughable. Absolutely laughable. It's what we've been doing the whole goddamn season. Which had two. Yoshi was all right though.
Yeah,
he was all right, but then it's just.
Funny enough, despite the fact that those two kind of goals almost felt like they'd been kind of waltzed in.
Right,
bit,
okay,
and they were both kind of like, there was a little bit of good fortune for Arsenal. There was a little bit of poor defending from Southampton. Generally feeling at half time, I felt probably more positive, even being 2-1 down than perhaps at the start of the game. Although there is that kind of feeling that, once Saints have conceded a goal and then conceded another, they're just not going to pick themselves up. But one thing that Mark Hughes had shown, in the matches against Wigan, good halftime team talk, came out much better in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so West Ham, we were much better in the second half, but you could hardly be worse than you were in the first half. And we still need a second, so, you can argue the toss on that one a bit.
Yeah.
But, this halftime team talk obviously went well for Saints because we came out in the second half. And again, we looked more hungry for the ball. We looked up for it again.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And, what he brought off, was it Mali Yoshida for Charlie Austin?
Oh, God, I can't remember now.
We'd got...
I was definitely had a few pints in me by then.
Yeah.
But we did make it... He made a positive game management, shall we say, change.
Yeah, I think it got to the hour mark and we were kind of... We were pushing Arsenal a bit. They'd had some chances, we'd had some chances.
Yeah.
It was looking like the game could go either way. and he made a positive attacking substitution, pulling off a defender and bringing on a striker.
Yeah.
And almost with his first touch,
he's going to get you a goal.
Yeah.
That's what obviously Tom said on this show a whole bag of times. He's just going to get you goals. That's what you can't fault him. You know, I mean, I wouldn't want to go for a drink with him, but I mean, like, he's going to get you a goal.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. I mean, yeah, you know, the injuries aside, but he really gave us spirit. And along with Longy, you're just thinking to yourself, okay, we are sorted here. This is good. You know, Hughesy's doing the business. However, it's those two centre-backs. It's just horrific.
But, I mean, we really had the upper hand at this point. I remember turning to you and saying at 2-2, you know, I think we're going to go on and get the winner here.
Yeah, I felt that as well, mate. I genuinely, I think when you said that, I was thinking that as well.
Yeah.
I was like, there is no way Saints are coming away from here with nothing.
It's the hope that kills us, isn't it? Because
don't think it.
I mean, and then, you know, what happens is there's a long cross into the box at the back post. And all of the goals, it seems like we've conceded this season.
Yeah.
You know, or so many of the important goals we've conceded this season. There's been a long ball into the back post. And, oh, look, there's Cedric Suarez marking their big man striker. And it was, once again, far too easy. Danny Welbeck gets the ball in the goal.
The thing is, Suarez is going to give you that width. And as we saw this weekend, he gives you... We were given so many options. But on the Arsenal match, he does give you that extra option. And you've got, I mean, Hughes has only got, like, you know, he can only work with what he's got. And yeah, you know, he's not going to rise like a salmon like Shane Long for a defensive header. But it's one of those things, isn't it? You throw the dice.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the interesting things I was thinking, that he brought off Yoshida, you know, to make the attacking substitution. We should say, like, fair play. But I thought kind of after, you know, the West Ham game that maybe Yoshida had gone up in the pecking order a bit. I'd have thought perhaps you might have kept him on the pitch more rather than Stevens or Hoots. So Yoshida's a little bit more experienced. You know, so, I mean, maybe he doesn't necessarily have, like, all of the ability that Hoots and Stevens have, because they both have ability, but they both lack that kind of... that maturity. Yeah,
well, no, that's the problem. That's the entirety of this conversation about our back four or back five, is that there's no maturity. It's all been ripped away from us. There's nothing there. It's like dancing on ice with those with those guys, except for the width. Bertrand and Suarez, you're always going to get something there. But those back two or three, in the, you know, it's complete roll of the dice every single time.
Yeah, and then so the game kind of like, I mean, it doesn't really peter out to an end because it was still kind of like end-to-end stuff. So there's still some good chances. We also had Jack Stevens. One of the things that he really does do well is break forward from defence. And, you know, Saints have an attack. Obviously, Arsenal know this is quite worrying. It's one in about the 91st minute, something like that. Jack Stevens running away with the ball. We're going to have a chance from this. And that... I mean, I'm not going to say the word, but I think you can fill in the gaps, listener. That Jack Wilshere...
okay, bald now as well.
Yeah.
He shaved it all off.
Grabbing the shirt of Stevens so much that he nearly tears it off his back.
I didn't even... the highlights, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I thought it was so audacious from the view that we had in the stadium, and obviously you're quite far away from the pitch, even though we're quite low down.
Yeah.
You're still quite far away from the pitch at the Emirates. And I was surprised that the referee didn't stop it. You know, I think he was trying to play an advantage or something.
Let's just take a minute, look at his shirt.
Jack Stevens, like probably most human beings, couldn't deal with Wilshere being that much of a fill in the blank here. And he did what we've all wanted to do to that fill in the blank here, Wilshere.
Yeah.
And he floored him.
Yeah, and
I mean, if you're going to get a red card
to that guy, it's fine. It's like the equivalent, not Dennis Wise, but it's getting along those lines. I mean, I was. Do you know what? The amount of times I've been to see Saints Arsenal at St Mary's or the Dell, and there's always a red card to Arsenal. I don't know what that was. I personally think that Arsenal are a beautiful football club. They get the ball down and play it beautifully. Fine, whatever. But there's always a red card. I just never thought it'd be our player. And Jack, he's a young lad, fine, like, you know, and he had half his shirt torn off.
Yeah,
but then he got sent off, and Jesus Christ.
And then Mohamed El Neni just does the stupid thing and gets sent off as well, which, you know, just totally bizarre. Anyway, I mean, I think, you know, let's move on from that game because we've got a lot to cover in this episode. But before we do, there's a guy behind us. What the hell was he on? That was the most insane away banter in inverted commas that I've ever heard in my life. He was absolutely obsessed with the Arsenal fans filming the game for Instagram and stuff like that.
Get off your phone. Yeah. Get off your phone. Literally for 15 minutes behind us.
Yeah. I mean, he was much better when we were drawing or when we were in the lead. He was just chanting away as you'd expect. But as soon as we were losing, he just turned to the Arsenal fans and chanted for 15 minutes, put your phone away.
Oh, I mean, when that's right behind you in your ear, jeez, man. Anyways, that's a point I wanted to bring up. Come on, guys.
Anyway, I was thinking, as we were walking away from the stadium, I thought, you know, if we perform like we had against Arsenal, you know, with that formation, you know, same team again. Obviously, Stevens is now banned, but, you know, let's try and figure out a way so that we can play the kind of 5-4-1 formation because it worked very well against them. Mm-hmm. Playing at home against a clearly disinterested Chelsea side, so a Chelsea side that, you know, since it's been clear that Conte is not going to be staying at the end of the season, their players have done what Chelsea do. They kind of like go on holiday for rest season. Yeah. You know, you never know. You kind of think you might even score a couple of goals against them, and who knows what could happen. You could potentially get a win.
Yeah.
So roll forwards to St Mary's, Saturday.
God.
Early kickoff, lunchtime kickoff.
It's the curse of the TV, isn't it? It really is. For me, anyway.
I mean, I don't know if you can say that anymore. I mean, I think it's the curse of Southampton's season.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a fantastic performance. Again, we were getting to the second balls. We were winning the 50-50s. The players clearly wanted it more than the Chelsea players. They started that game like they cared and they actually wanted Southampton to win a game and get themselves out of trouble. And it looked really, really positive.
Yeah, you know, it was amazing to watch it. I mean, genuinely, it's not... Because I still personally feel quite shell-shocked from that game because I think I hark back to the days where we did do that. I mean, we have been relegated in the past, and I think of the form that we've shown to get relegated, and this is the performance that basically underlines that fact for me anyway. I think, you know, but yeah, we started wonderfully. It was absolutely fantastic. Latiz was saying before the match on Sky, look, if they're going to get any chance in this game, they've got to get their win backs. You know, it's going to, and lo and behold, Bertrand, unbelievable.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, that run which he came through for the Tadic goal, so about 20 minutes in, bursting forward.
Yeah.
It was a great ball out of defence. He ran onto it beautifully, took it into the box, picked out Tadic, who'd kind of done that great thing of like running forward and then just like stopping down, slowing, you know, giving himself a bit of space around the penalty spot. The ball comes in, he tucks it away. Beautifully, beautiful precision finish.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
It reminded me a little bit like his goal against Everton when we beat them 4-1, his first goal, which again, I think it came
that this season?
It was that
this
season.
Good God.
Yeah.
That is depressing.
I remember, I think it may have been Bertrand, it may have been Redmond, but he got the ball into Tadic, and this time he did it with, I think it was just one touch, straight in a shot. That time Tadic did that kind of really beautiful little right to his left and then kind of dinked it past the keeper. But Tadic can do a tidy finish when he wants to.
Yeah, of course. And like his positioning was amazing. And I also have to say, like before that, we were getting some beautiful crosses into the box that were going, basically unmet, which was a bit, and I was getting a bit, oh my God, come on lads,
Yeah.
But then we scored that goal and it was deserved. It was beautifully created. Chelsea weren't interested. Alonso, not being able to defend in his, attack, defend, whatever, and try and, take out Shane Long later down the line. But I thought that goal was, right, here we go. We're going to do this.
Yeah. So let's talk about Alonso before we get to half time. I mean, that was a horrible, horrible challenge.
Yeah, he's got to get what does he call it? Retrospective ban. I mean, that's horrific.
You'd expect so. I think this podcast is going to go out on Tuesday, so probably listeners already know what's happened with that. But I mean, also the fact that the referee was about 5 yards away, clear vision. Why has he not sent him off there?
Well, I think that it's Mike Reed, right?
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that he just couldn't be bothered. I mean, there's a part of me that just wants to believe that he was looking for a split second in the wrong direction, or that the lino was looking again in the wrong direction, or the whole of it's right in front of Hughes, it's right in front of Conte, it's right in front of everyone. It's a horrific challenge. Any other situation, that's a straight red. And frankly, that he hasn't seen that is beyond me. I think it's beyond everyone. Match the Day lot were the same. They couldn't believe it. I can't believe it. And if he goes off, it changes the game completely. Absolute 1-0 half-time, down to 10. Those Chelsea boys, they're not going to want the game. They couldn't give a shit.
No, but you know what? It didn't matter because we came out in the second half and we really went for it again.
Oh, I know.
And we did that thing that you absolutely
You are
need
breaking
to do
my
when
heart,
you're
mate.
Southampton, is we got the second goal. We got put ourselves up front. We could, gave ourselves a little bit of breathing space. So all we had to do at this point, what is it? I think 60th minute.
Yeah.
We put the ball in the back of the net again.
Yeah. Can you describe the goal for me again? Because I've forgotten it.
Oh, so we win the free kick, kind of about halfway through the Chelsea half.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse, who is now on the pitch these days, puts in a fantastic ball, whipping it right into the back post, where Bednarek, on his Premier League debut, runs in and just beautifully slots it past.
It's gorgeous.
It's lovely.
I was off the sofa. I was absolutely convinced we were going to... And this is... I know people aren't going to appreciate me saying this, but I thought we'd lose this game. This isn't based on the fact that we have eventually lost the game, but I was convinced we were going to lose. But that finish that had me off the sofa. We're going to do this.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is our game. We are in touching distance of getting out of this complete shithole we've put ourselves in.
So the only alarm bell that flashed onto me is immediately after we scored that goal, and Tony. So 30 minutes to go. You're thinking, right, okay, 2-0 up, 30 minutes to go. We just need to be strong of mind, and we can hold on to this. They could potentially get one goal with the quality that they've got, but as long as we keep concentrated. We could probably defend well enough for half an hour and prevent them from getting 2 goals and heaven forbid getting an equaliser. But the only thing that worried me is immediately after we scored that goal, Conte sends on Giroud. And all Southampton fans know way too much about Giroud. And we've seen him score against us so many times. And so when Giroud was on, I thought, well, he's definitely going to get a goal against us. Let's hope it's going to be really, really late on and we've still got enough time to defend and keep our lead and we don't end up, coming to a draw.
Yeah.
It didn't take Giroud very long to make his impact. I think it was less than 10 minutes.
But he did look completely mute up to that point. So I was like, oh, this double substitution crap. What's he done? It's a waste of time. And then suddenly... It's horrific.
Yeah. Did he take... Was it Alonso came off? Or
I can't remember. I've got to be honest.
Or Giroud?
I will hold my hands up and say, I don't know. I think I was too much in heaven. I think I was in dreamland.
No.
Being 2-0 up against Chelsea. Our stage of the season. No way. Yeah. But he did ring the changes. Game management. Bring on... What are you going to do? Bring on a goal scorer? Yeah, all right then. I'll score a goal. But what followed was insane.
Yeah. So Saints have this problem where we concede a goal. And, I think back in the old days, if you go back to the 90s, like Jason Dodd,
do we have to?
Benali, well, okay, let's not even go back that long. Let's go back to...
I love the 90s.
Let's go back, 2 seasons ago when Virgil van Dijk was playing for Southampton and he cared, before the Liverpool interest. If Saints was suddenly on the back foot like this, he was the kind of person who would lead players, be the leader of men. He'd sort them out. Okay, so we can forget about Van Dijk. Once his head was turned, he wasn't going to be that person. Yeah. And we saw that this season.
Heartbreaking.
Jose Font, who we sold to West Ham United for £4 million. He was the kind of player that, again, would rally the troops.
Absolutely,
he would organise players.
Absolutely.
And he had done all the way from League One up to the Premier League. He demonstrated that he had that leadership quality. It was just terrible, wasn't it?
But for me, I've seen... So my wife and I went to our first a second date. Our second date was Norwich at home. We won 3-0. The second was West Brom away, 0-0. And Virgil van Dijk's debut. I have never seen a centre-back so in control, literally bred to be in that squad with the exact players around him. He was an absolute titan. And I mean, I know this is going into more specifics of where the club has gone wrong, but what we've done to get rid of that guy, I don't know what we've put. And obviously, he's been, flirted with and what have you. But where we've gone wrong, it's beyond me. When we talk about Fontaine and Van Dijk now, I think in my head, just trying to imagine what they would have done to a 2-0 lead at home against Chelsea.
Yeah.
Put their foot down. No way you're getting past us now, man.
I mean, to be honest, the game at this point in the season probably wouldn't have mattered if we'd had Fonte and Virgil van Dijk still in the side. I mean, or even if we just had one of them, and I'm talking about pre-Liverpool flirtation Van Dijk, because he was a totally different sort of character, and certainly
absolutely
not a leader after that. But it's just so depressing. I mean, I don't know if this is a total broken record, but we lack leadership on the pitch, particularly in defence, and we lack the ability to defend rudimentary crosses. And, when you have someone like Giroud on the pitch, if you're not going to be able to defend rudimentary crosses, you're going to concede a goal. Happened almost immediately.
Well, I mean, it was sickening to see once again, Giroud, whoever, anyone, between two of our fucking defenders. I was screaming. Actually, do you know what? I'm not going to... This is a really... For me, my chin wobbled. I got very emotional. It was hard, man. It was hard seeing that goal go in, because I knew what was going to happen. Well, no, I didn't. No one could see that happening. 3 goals in 8 minutes. No one could see that happening. But to have those two centre-backs, oh my God... What is going on?
3 centre-backs we had on the pitch at this point.
All you have to do, right, for an entire week, plus an international break, is get your defenders to head the ball. Giroud comes on. What are you thinking, chaps? Should we maybe think about getting tight on him, heading the ball?
I mean, also what I find quite interesting about this, like if you have 3 at the back, surely there's a tactical defensive advantage here where you've got an extra man, right?
Right.
Say, I mean, whether you're a proponent of zonal marking or whether you're a proponent of man marking, and we've seen both go horribly wrong for Saints in the past. But, I mean, this is the point where you've got 3 at the back. You've actually got the chance to do all of the above.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you could have 2 central defenders man marking and have one player that just has to attack the ball. So wherever the ball's going to go, just run towards it and just throw your body at it.
Yeah. But the cross that comes in for Giroud's header,
I mean, it was great, and it was a great finish for Giroud. I mean, the other 2 goals kind of annoy me a little bit, because again, it's kind of you're letting Chelsea in and around the area, just around your box, and that's the kind of area where Hazard is really, really dangerous. And also, I think we're defending a little bit too deep at this point. So I think we're a bit panicked, and the defenders are staying back, and that means that Hazard has the space to be able to do the finish. Then it's 2-2, and I think at this point I think that's the point when everyone knows what is coming.
Yeah, except I mean, I'm still recovering from it. I'm genuinely still recovering. I mean, I think it was the equaliser where I was welling up and I just couldn't believe it, because I think we're down. But I think that Giroud goal is, I mean, he's got, how much space does he have around him? For Christ's sake. It's panic. Everyone's looking, where's the ball? It's complete panic stations. No one's closing him down in the freaking penalty area.
Yeah.
It's beyond, it's lamentable. It's all those things, but it's just football. It's just defending, and it's Giroud. He's your main man. Yeah. Who's on him? It's the most basic thing. How many goals has he scored against us? Where is he? Where's the danger man? There he is. I'll stand with him then.
I think to answer your question, I think it's 7 goals in his 9 appearances against Southampton. Right. I'm going to have a moan at referees here now, okay?
Go on then, mate.
So none of that should have happened, because Chelsea should have been down to 10 men.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have had the option to be able to attack like they did when they went for their consolation goal, then their equaliser, and then their winner. And so I'm placing the blame firmly in the hands of the referee for this. Alonso should have been sent off. He should have been down to 10 men.
Okay.
I don't think we can blame Hughes. I know you've said, he should have just drilled his defenders just to head the ball for all that time. I don't know if he necessarily knew how bad we were at defending.
No, I don't blame Hughes at all. Yeah.
And I think, you look at the last two games against Arsenal, a game against Chelsea, which you could have quite probably expected us to lose both of those. But, again, it's the hope that kills you. It's the fact that we've managed to get a lead in both of those games and still conspire to throw it away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to blame the ref here. Alonso should have
mate.
been sent off. Chelsea should have been down. We should have been 2-0, waltz to the end.
Okay.
The next one, referee in the game against Watford, where they scored that blatant handball right at the very, very end to change it from being 2-1 to Saints to 2-2.
Okay, yeah. That's harking back, yeah.
I think this means that we are 5 points worse off, plus 4 goal difference.
Okay, wow.
That's the difference between two atrocious, obvious, blatant referee mistakes.
I think you're nitpicking, man. I think Saints have got.
I mean, so Saints deserve to be in the position. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Saints
okay.
deserve to be in the position, but
Yeah,
referees also.
but they're wankers for everyone.
They're part of the downfall, aren't they?
I think okay, what I will say, you are absolutely bang on in my opinion with Alonso. That is horrific. If he gets it in any other pressure point on Long's leg, he's gone. He's broken his leg. And who knows what's going to happen to the little salmon, because he rises like a salmon. But I think, mate, come on, we were destined to lose that game as soon as that first one went in. Yeah. And yeah, no, you're right. He shouldn't be on the pitch and whatever. But we should still be able to defend 2 more goals. We should still be said, fucking hell, right, they've scored 1, 2-1. Let's just, half an hour to go, fair play. It's still a very long way to go. But in-game management, there should be realisation from the team. Front to back, we're in a dogfight here, lads. 2-1, right, batten down the hatches.
Yeah.
But blimey, O'Reilly. Maybe if Hughes had been here 3 years, we would know how to deal with that. It's a very highly pressurised moment,
I'll tell you what I think is interesting is, who we look at who's culpable for this. So, I've put the blame at the referees. So we could say the referees. We could say the lack of leadership. In the squad. We could say, the fact that our managers haven't taught our defenders how to head the ball or attack crosses and get rid of the ball. But actually, if you look at the way that we've been playing under Hughes, and I don't know, I'm going to suspect that this is Hughes' influence because we were always abject against with Pellegrino. I think there were hardly any games where you could really say that we look like we're going to go out and win games. We got some good draws, and I think that's all he was good for, was getting some good draws.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
And I think you could see after the Palace game, especially, that we really needed to get rid of him. We really needed the change. But this was very embarrassingly just after Ralph Kruger had gone to the press and done a massive interview about how we're sticking with Pellegrino and how it was all Virgil van Dijk's fault that we were in the position that we were.
Yeah.
And now that Van Dijk was going to leave, aren't you going to see things change? The board are culpable, aren't they?
Well, I mean,
they should have got rid of Pellegrino earlier.
Yeah.
And I think, looking at the way Hughes has galvanised the team spirit at least. So obviously not West Ham, but the games against Arsenal and Chelsea demonstrate that we have a squad that is more than capable of staying up, which we all know anyway.
Yeah.
But we also have players that are able to be motivated.
Absolutely.
To play well.
Look, we can't kid ourselves here as supporters that we haven't got a squad that can get us out of this situation, because we have. Categorically, we have the players that can get us out of this situation. Hughesy's doing as best he can. That's evident. Yeah. It's just something's going wrong in the mentality of these players. That, like you've said previously on this podcast, whether it's international break, whether it's the World Cup or a fucking transfer deal that's coming down the road, who knows what is going on in that dressing room? But it's deeply upsetting to know that these lads, I remember when Newcastle went down, I was looking at them going, technically, you're amazing, but they still went down. Yeah. Southampton are going to have that. And how many of those are we going to lose? But when you talk about the board, it's all about hollowing out the club for me. This club has been slowly hollowed out. and that's why we're going down. It's as simple as that.
So can you explain that a little bit more detail?
I'd say that since we went up, we had that spirit. We came up with that fire, that engine, that passion that drove us. Okay, yes, we got rid of Adkins. I cried when he left, believe it or not. I was in my kitchen. I remember my mate texted me. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, but what a wonderful man. And we had that fire, that belief, that energy, that the youth team that came through.
Yeah.
Everything behind us. What we'd been through to get back into the Premier League. And then we slowly start
it was like a real band of brothers.
It was a band of brothers, mate.
And I remember Richard Chaplow talking about this in the episode where we interviewed him, and you could really sense for him, he was talking about one of the best times of his life. You know, it was when they talk about Leicester winning the title, it was the togetherness. It had been the fact they'd gone through adversity, they'd come back, and that.
Exactly, mate. For me, it was seeing. I think we went up against Coventry. It was at last game of the season, and the Ox scored an absolute screamer. I was at the chapel end, not my favourite end, but there it was. And I just remember thinking, we're up. Like this is dreamland, fantastic. But then we finally got a result. We were like literally 10 games without a goddamn win under Adkins. We finally got a result, and I knew we were going to go for it. I knew it. We were never going to get relegated. I knew it. That was the passion, the belief in the club, the feeling of the club has now been taken away because they've.
And do you think Adkins is the turning point? Because I mean, there's a very strong argument here that you could say, well, it was heartbreaking when they got rid of Adkins. I remember just thinking, wow, we're one of those clubs that will get rid of someone who's had double promotion. But the fact is, we brought in Pochettino, who was fantastic. Yeah, and then when he left, we brought in Koeman, and he did fantastically well for Saints as well. And we had European football. Yeah. You know, we've had all of this. You know, they're rising up through the Premier League. We've been started some season so strongly that we've been in like second place after like 10 games.
Mate, it's not Adkins. It's not getting rid of Adkins.
So where's the hollowing out happen? What point has the Southampton way, which served us so well for like 4 or 5 seasons, or even a little bit longer if you go back to kind of
it's getting
10 points.
It's getting rid of Lallana, isn't it? It's getting rid of Shaw. It's getting rid of Chambers. You know, okay, Chambers wasn't all that, but he bloody would have been.
Yeah.
It's allowing, it's taking the money. What is Southampton capable of doing? How can we turn that into money? How can we monetize Southampton Football Club to the point where we roll the dice, we sell a player, we sell Wanyama, we get Romeo, whoever, whatever, and it works. It's completely rolling the dice. It's a fucking gamble. The whole thing is a gamble. And it paid off.
Do you think our luck has just run out?
It's completely run out. And all the pundits were saying, "Oh, do you know what? This season, Southampton. You know, when we start to go downhill around November, December, they were saying we're too good to go down. There are far worse teams around us. That's bollocks.
There are far worse squads around us.
Right? Okay, but there's the team spirit. I mean, you know, you can't look at Swansea. I can't. I was watching them yesterday, match today. I was like, we can't. If we played them now, God knows what's going to happen to us. But what I'm talking about, the hollowing out of the club, is I think a lot of Saints fans will feel. I think we go down. There are a lot of people that feel, do you know what? I don't mind if we go down because it will take us, maybe in a kind of like a melancholy way, it will take us back to what we were when we went down to get back to where we needed to be. But the sad thing is, we've only been up. We really haven't been up long enough to think, oh, you know, we've achieved enough. When we came back up, for me, I was like, we're gonna do things, man. Yeah. You know, and we did. We got into the Europa League, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Now look at us. I mean, it is. I'm actually feel quite emotional about this. I'm not going to cry or anything, but I think there are an awful lot of fans out there that feel like this, that literally could shake their heads and go, hang on, 2 years ago we were fucking beating Inter Milan. You know, at home.
I mean, I think it's almost 2 years ago, exactly to the point when Southampton were 2-0 down at St Mary's against a decent side, which was Liverpool. And Jurgen Klopp was giving it large up and down the line, you know, doing his kind of like pantomime, like, I mean, I don't know what...
I love Klopp. I love him. I've got to be honest.
But I tell you what I loved even more was when we turned that game around and Ronald Koeman just gave it back in absolute bucket loads, like sprinting down the line to celebrate.
There you go,
but
mate.
You know, that was the spirit of of the Southampton team.
We were going somewhere.
And, we'll all say, who is the last team to have won at White Hart Lane? Obviously, except for Tottenham. But, Southampton, they were the last team to defeat Tottenham at White Hart Lane. That was the season when they came second,
Yeah.
There's been so much great stuff with Southampton. But you know what I think the problem is I think that the board have done very, very well. They've been very successful. So if you think about kind of like Les Reed, I mean, his involvement has been from kind of lower leagues all the way up. And, you cannot argue that from when we were minus 10 points in League One, when the Lieber family took over, when Marcus Lieber bought the club, things have gone incredibly well up until the second half of last season. I think, that's... I feel like that is the point where things start to go downhill. And I think the problem is that, the choppy and changing, say an offer comes in for Luke Shaw or Callum Chambers or whatever, and you end up selling because, you've got pressure from the players, they want to leave, blah, 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 blah. So you let them go, you bring in different players and you improve. And you're like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you think, oh, that was a lucky roll of the dice and we got a good player? Or do you think, oh, actually... it's that little black box. It's all the things.
No, it's complete luck, mate.
But this is the thing, right? So when you're at work and a project goes well, right? You turn around and you're like, oh, yeah, well,
Yeah, completely.
because of this guy.
Right, yeah. Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, little old me over here?
Yeah, of course. That's why it all went so brilliantly. And then they did that so many times over. Like every time we sold on a player for big money, we seemed to be able to bring in someone who could do a job, and we kept on improving and improving and improving. Now, I think most Southampton fans would realise that if we had kept that core that came up and then established themselves in the Premier League in that kind of Adkins, Pochettino season, the thought of having Schneidlin and Lallana and Klein and Luke Shaw and Fonte... You're
going to make me cry again.
All together...
God.
With Ricky Lambert and firing Jay Rodriguez. Okay,
that's Champions League. That's a Champions League contending squad.
That's what you think, and I think you're right. And actually, so maybe all these improvements that we made were not. We kept on going up in the league.
But how far can you go? And how many rolls of the dice when you get Mane?
But that's the thing. The problem is the board didn't think they were rolls of the dice. They thought that they had solved football. They thought they'd figured it out. And so every time someone leaves, you think, and I was starting to feel confident as well, like, oh, Puel's gone. Okay, so he did all right. Got us 8th in the table, got us to a cup final. But the football was pretty dour at the end of last season. It wasn't enjoyable to watch. So I was quite happy for them to roll the dice, thinking, oh, they're probably going to bring in like another Pochettino type, some unknown Argentine manager who's got like way more about him than any of us can ever expect.
Yeah.
And this roll of the dice just hasn't worked. But it's that whole problem of believing their own hype. And then also, I think Ralph Kruger and his interview and like not sacking him because he'd come out and publicly said, oh, we're going to keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's embarrassing. But what's more embarrassing? Saying, oh, actually, I made a mistake. I gave that interview because I wanted to show the manager some support. We thought he could win a couple of games. But actually, on reflection, a few games later, we've kind of realised that, it was too little too late.
But they weren't used to that, though. To give Kruger credit, or not credit, I don't know. Those lads, right, Reed and all that, they're not used to talking about a relegation scrap and a manager that's potentially taking us down. What do we do here with the press? Shit, do we get on his get behind him, back him? Oh God, what's this going to do? What's it going to do with the fans? They don't know what they're doing. Sorry, but they don't.
Right.
They do. Sorry, I do want to just finish on. I think there are plenty of fans out there that feel the same way about me, the hollowing out the club, and I think when the dust has settled and we are down, hopefully our supporters will actually do something about this. I think we're too polite and nice, but that's just anyway. I'm inciting craziness. Get out there!
Porteous the pirate leading his band of brothers.
I want to see some protest, man. Come on. And can you pass a bottle opener?
Yeah.
Another beer.
So I am now going to try and make the case for us staying up. Okay, so after all of that discussion. So our next game is on Thursday night. It's against Leicester City. We were absolutely humiliated by Leicester, 4-1 at St Mary's. I think this was very much Claude Puel's revenge. I think now we need to get our revenge on Leicester for that absolute abject humiliation.
Okay.
It was awful, awful. And I would also say that if we perform like we have in the last 2 games, we can do it.
I think you're right. The thing is, Hughes, he's only been here a little while. He's clearly got the team playing. And I think, like I said earlier, when it took us a long time to get going under Adkins in the Premier League, I think obviously Hughes has got plenty of Premier League experience, but I think there's a result out there that could give us belief. I hope it's not that kind of belief that ends up breaking our hearts, but I think if we are going to turn the Titanic, it's going to be against Leicester.
Well, I think it has to start on Thursday, doesn't it? I mean, we've only got 5 games left.
Oh, God almighty.
We're 5 points behind, right? So I'm now going to read out the remaining fixtures, and I want you to come up with a prediction for how many points we'll have left at the end of the season.
You better read them out slowly because I'm going to have to think about this.
Okay. I mean, you can just say it and then I'll tot it up in my head if you like.
All right then, mate.
Okay, so Thursday, Leicester City away.
1-1, I think.
1 point, okay.
1 point, yeah.
Bournemouth at home.
Fucking hell. Saints 2-0.
4 points. Everton, Sam Allardyce, checked out this season. Everton away, Goodison Park. Can we do it? Is there a point there for taking? Is there 3 points there?
Look, I mean, I'm being generous. A point.
Point?
Yeah, I think so, because I saw them against Swansea and they were hopeless.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So 5 points.
Yeah.
Then away at Swansea, one of our relegation battling
We're going to
sides.
lose that.
You think we're going to lose that?
Yeah, we'll lose that game. Absolutely.
Okay. The Man City at home.
I think we'll beat them.
You think we're going to beat Man City at home?
Yeah, I think we are, because City would have won the title.
They already have won the title. They won it today.
Have they won it today?
Yeah.
Oh, flipping heck. Oh, my, well, of course we're going to beat them. I was okay, yeah, fair play. God, I should have been paying attention. I was watching Britain's Got Talent. I wasn't. I really wasn't.
No, they won today because Jay Rodriguez scored for West Brom. As West Brom, the bottom side, beat Manchester United.
No! What? Really?
Yeah, genuine.
Oh my God. I thought that was... Oh my God.
I know for our listeners, this news is like 3 days old now, or 2 days
I know,
old.
but
it's quite funny breaking this to William sat next to me.
What? 2-0, 2-1? What was it?
So, hang on, but let's just go back to... It was 1-0. Let's get back to this. So you think
Bloody
Leicester,
hell.
we're going to get a point. Bournemouth,
Okay.
we're going to get 3. So that's 4. Everton, we're going to get a point. So that's 5. And you actually think we're going to beat the Premier League champions at home on the last day of the season?
Of course we bloody are. Look, I'm not like beating the drum of crazy up the Saints, but we've done that before. We've beaten City plenty of times. I'm fully aware of how mad that sounds, considering the situation we're in now. But if we can do what we did to Chelsea, we'll be fine. I think we will beat Man City at home. I think that we've got everything at home, that bearing in mind, away would be a completely different story because City would never allow that. But I think they will. I think that if we can really get in, you're telling me before a World Cup, if we go in as physically as we did against Chelsea, the Man City players are going to be like, oh, right, up for that. They will be scared out their minds if we go flying in. And yeah, we'll beat them. Absolutely.
Okay, so that means Saints finish the season with 36 points.
Okay.
Should we figure out if that's going to be enough for them?
Go on then. I think you've got the answer here.
So Brighton, they're currently on 35 points.
Oh, God.
They've got 5 games remaining and they have to play Burnley.
They won't get anything. Is it at home or away?
I can't remember whether it's home or away.
Well, they won't get anything against Burnley.
And the other 4 fixtures are against the current top 4.
Yeah, they're down. We'll relegate them.
So you think Brighton are not going to get another point for the rest of the season? 5 games, 0 points.
Look, I mean, the top 4, I mean, they're all... Yeah, I mean, that's a tight pack. They're jostling. Yeah, I think... I seriously, I can't see them getting anything against... But Burnley are fighting harder than any of them. They're thinking... Europa League, like another team.
Okay,
that we're
so Brighton
talking about.
finished on 35. We're going to make this speedy.
Okay,
Huddersfield,
sorry,
35 points at the moment. They've got 4 games left. Everton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City. How many points are they going to get?
Everton, Chelsea...
Arsenal, Man City, Huddersfield.
They'll get maybe 3 against Everton.
I think they're going to get I had 0 to 6 points down in my prediction.
I'm thinking 3 points.
So let's go 3 points. That leaves them on 38.
Yeah.
West Ham, 6 games remaining. So this includes Monday night, so our listeners might know the answer of this, against Stoke. Probably expect them to win that.
Yeah, they'll win against Stoke, yeah.
They've also got Arsenal, Man City, Leicester, Man United and Everton.
Again, Everton, they'll pick up points there. They'll pick up 3 there.
So we're going to have 6 points in total, which means they're going to finish on 40 points this season.
Yeah.
Palace, 4 games left. Watford, Leicester, Stoke, West Brom.
Well, they'll win all of those.
I think they're also going to get 12 points.
Yeah.
That's what I put down for that. I think they're going to win all their games, which leaves them on 46 points.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham and Palace, I'd say they're out of it anyway. Really.
Swansea, 5 games left. Man City, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Saints, and Stoke. I think Swansea, you've given them 3 points against Saints. So what are they going to pick up from Stoke, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Man City?
They'll probably, mate, I mean, this is a heartbreaker, but they'll probably, they're going to get points there, big style. I just said big style. I don't know. I think we're looking at 9 at least there.
9?
Genuinely, like I think they've got Calval, they've got the right guy there. So
that leaves them with 42. And Stoke, they've got 5 games left. West Ham, who said they're going to lose to. Burnley, Liverpool, Palace, who they've said they're going to lose to, and Swansea.
They won't get anything out of that lot.
So you're going to get 0 points. They're going to finish on 27. I haven't included West Brom in this because I made this little bit before.
Where are they now then?
They won against Man United, but they're now, I think, on 26 points potentially. Let's have a little look at the table.
26
They're 24 points.
Okay, so I mean, they're pretty much out of it, aren't they, really?
They've got 4 fixtures left. Let's have a look at the West Brom fixtures just to make sure.
I personally feel, though, that West Ham, Palace are out of this.
West Brom have got Liverpool, Newcastle, Tottenham and Palace.
Yeah.
So we've already got them losing to Palace. I don't think they're going to get anything against Tottenham, are they?
No, I think West Brom are gone, man. But beating Man United away from home, that's extraordinary.
I mean, you just don't know, do you?
You don't know. I mean, that's terrifying. But you're talking to someone who I already feel that Saints are down, though. Like,
yeah, you already think Saints are down, but based on your predictions...
Aha. Tell me
West
something.
Brom finished bottom.
Yeah.
Stoke finished second bottom.
Yeah.
Brighton get relegated.
Blimey.
With 35 points. And Saints are 1 position above relegation on 36 points.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I just don't know. Like Brighton, I mean, I don't want to see Brighton go down. I like Brighton. I've been to see them a couple of times, and I also love this city itself. But genuinely, man, I can't see them getting anything against those lads. That fixture list,
which means that I think 36 points is the magic number, which means that 8 points is what we need to get from our remaining league fixtures. So Leicester, Bournemouth, Everton, Swansea, Man City, 15 points to play for. It's still possible.
It's still possible, but I mean, I feel that. I feel we'll beat City at home, and I think we can get a draw. The starting point is Leicester, because I feel that we've done enough. We've got spanked. Well, spanked. We've shipped 12 goals. However, in the last 4 matches, but I still think there's something there. I still think, like, Hughesy, if you can keep the team, if you can keep it going and just try and eradicate that mad 8 minutes, then we can go against Leicester. I really do feel that, you know.
I think, Leicester, Bournemouth, Everton, Swansea, we've got 4 games here.
Yeah.
Man City at the end, I mean, I don't think we're going to get anything, but I think from those 4 games, there's 12 points available.
It could be out of our hands, though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If any of those fixture lists that you read out about Swansea, and my predictions are, pretty ill thought out. But if any of those go against us, we're fucked anyway. So it's kind of like irrelevant. It's like, we could win all our remaining games, but we're 5 points in this shit. Pardon my language, by the way, listeners. I've been swearing like a crazy man.
Right. So anyway, it's still possible. There's still hope. Don't check out yet. Get behind the boys on Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, on the ugly inside, they were saying that, as a guy got up and he was like, look, it's still mathematically possible we can get behind it. And I did feel that, but...
Okay, so let's talk about happier things. Let's forget the Premier League competition.
Okay.
And let's talk about the FA Cup.
Oh, wonderful. Excitement.
So we're in a semi-final against Chelsea, who we know... although... Look, I'm actually feeling quite positive after yesterday because we know we can beat them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They also know how weak we are, but I think that's only because it matters.
Yeah.
In the FA Cup semi-final, we've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I was talking about this with my wife earlier, and I was thinking, like, I was thinking out loud, what are the different dynamics of a team that have just been completely destroyed in 8 minutes by the opposition, and they go to Wembley. What are the dynamics there? In your mind as a team, Saints get out to Wembley Stadium, they look around them warming up, they can momentarily forget that it's Chelsea.
I mean, hopefully Alonso will be banned for that game.
He's nice freaking well better, man. Like,
anyway, I feel we can beat Chelsea.
Yeah, okay.
There are still tickets available.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out and get them, lads.
There are still tickets. Get out. If you're sat on the fence, so I can understand people sometimes have reasons to not go to matches. I totally understand that. But if you're sat on the fence, you're thinking, do I want to go and watch Saints at Wembley? Or do I not want to go and watch them at Wembley? Can I just remind you of the last time we were in an FA Cup semi-final? Because I'm going to tell my story here. 2003.
Beautiful.
My father and my brother missed out on a ticket. So my brother desperately wanted to go. And he couldn't go because we only had 2 season tickets and 1 membership. And it didn't get to the point where it has got to here with Saints, where the tickets are available to anyone who basically wants one and can be bothered to register on the Saints website.
Yeah.
So we go there, me and my dad, we drive up to Birmingham, we park up, we start walking towards the stadium. We think, let's go to the pub before the game. We get to one of the pubs which has kind of been designated for Southampton fans, and we just get there, and it's a sea of red and white, and there's like Saints fans like singing, flags waving, scarves, and we genuinely, we couldn't physically get into the pub, but we just kind of like walked up to it and stood outside and sang along with the fans.
Amazing.
And it was just so brilliant. It felt like such a good day. It was a sunny day as well.
Beautiful.
Got into Villa Park, which love proper old school football ground, 4 sides, uncomfortable seats, perfect. So getting there, Saints fans like singing all the way through, and who can forget the like absolute romance of Brett Ormerod, one of the most
socks down
unfashionable like players of all time, to get that winning goal to send Saints through to the final.
Yeah,
that, my friends, is what you can miss if you don't get your ticket.
Yeah, and I'll back you up, man, because I was there with my dad. We drove up, and I'd never been to as big a stadium. I was blown away by it. It was in heaven, man. Absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, to your point with the red and white army, what a better occasion to feel like this could genuinely be our last big day out for a very long time. If we go down
until our next Johnston's Paint Trophy final.
Exactly, mate. But what a day out that was.
Yeah.
And I feel like this. You got to put it into perspective. We probably won't. When are we going to be in this position again, mate? If we're talking to one listener here, I'm gonna put this out there, man. If you buy a ticket, we will meet up with you and we will have a jolly good pint with you.
And so I think that's perfect time to probably end the podcast. So
but hang on, what scoreline's it going to be? Are we going to beat them? Or are we
we are going to beat Chelsea. We're going to beat them maybe 2-0. We're going to do what we did on Saturday, and we're not going to have the City 8 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel that we're going to beat them. I feel that we're going to have an FA Cup final.
Yeah.
I think we might do kind of what Wigan did. I think we might win the FA Cup and we might go down. I mean, we might just get to the final, become runners-up, and still go down. I hope that's not.
But Europa League, though.
I genuinely think we're gonna beat Chelsea.
Yeah.
Having seen us against Arsenal, having seen the performance against Chelsea, I think without the pressure, and I think the players will kind of realise that we're coming to the end of an era. Of Southampton Football Club. I think whatever happens at the end of the season, we're going to have a bit of a reshuffle. We've got a new owner. This is the end of the Lieber era. Katrina's still got a 20% stake. We've still got a lot of the players from that time. And, let's hope that before the ship sinks, it can have one last, moment in the sun.
Yeah, I feel like we've got a fight there.
And I think we're going to beat Chelsea. If you want to meet up with us, I mean, I'm going to be coming from a stag do.
Oh, man.
I might be hanging.
I'm
just going to put that out there.
Just hold a little back, hold a little bit back.
But we're happy to meet up in the pub. So get in contact, saintsfcpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you to all of those who emailed in. Jason, I know you sent me an email about the Arsenal game. Send us an email after the semi-final, after the game against Leicester. We'll have a little discussion on that on the next podcast. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's @SaintsFC If you want to get free beer, it's beer52.com/Saints. If you live in South London and you want to get your garden done, it is
PorteousBlytheGardens.com.
And if you want to listen to a podcast about politics with Porteous, the Southampton supporting gardening pirate, it's the Limehouse podcast.
The Limehouse podcast, or at limehousepod.com.
Excellent.
Just someone beeped over in that entire... sorry, yeah, London. At limehousepod. Yeah, that's our Twitter thing.
Okay, anyway, we can still do this. It's still possible.
We can.
Keep the faith.
Believe.
Come on, you Reds.
Oh, when the suits.
And that's it from us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.